Hi, in this video, we're going to talk about a really important concept, which is array functions. We're going to use array functions to generate a standard deviation if, a minimum if, and a max if. In other words, a conditional version of these three formulas, STDEV, min, and max. Those do not exist. If they did, we would just put a if at the end of this and then put our conditions, but that doesn't exist. We have to kind of make it from scratch. So to do that, we're going to go here, and we're going to put let's do it up here actually, yeah. STDEV, right? And then we don't just want to enter this range, which is what we're doing the standard deviation of. We actually have to start off with a conditional, and we have to do it in a kind of a weird way that we're not used to if you haven't done this before. So it's going to be an if-then statement, actually. We're going to use those kinds of formulations. And we're going to say if this range, and then we don't use a comma here. We actually have to make a statement. We have to say equals E3. So we're saying if it equals E3, which is the gender here. So if the gender here equals the selected gender we're talking about, which I'm going to lock it by column, then you see a logical test, right? This is the logical test. Now we have to say, well, if it's true, then look at this range over here, this total mission hours range we were talking about a second ago. And parenthesis, and parenthesis. Now, some versions of Excel, like the one I'm using now, if I hit enter, this formula will actually just work out of the box. It will treat these like array functions and work normally. If you're working with a version of Excel that does not do that, that just is getting confused or returns an error or doesn't return the right result, what you can do is you can hold down Shift and then, whoa, shoot, sorry. I held on enter by accident. That was not my desire. What you would do is you would hold down Shift, Control, and then enter. And then you notice it basically creates squiggly lines around this formula, and that's the symbol to you to know that it's an array function. Really important to know that if you just put those squiggly lines there, that doesn't actually work. You need to actually do the Shift, Control, and enter. Also, not every Shift and Control works. So for instance, the Shift and Control on the left side of your keyboard and hit enter doesn't do anything actually. But the one on the right side, at least on most keyboards that I've worked on, does work. And actually on some things I've noticed the enter needs to be the enter from the keypad on the right of your keyboard. So just keep that in mind. This is kind of a squirrely feature, and you might have to figure out how on your computer, on your version of Excel, particularly if you're using a Mac, you might run into some issues with this. But essentially, this is still a really useful thing to know how to do, because you can create your own conditional formula that doesn't exist out of the box in Excel. So let's just do it again over here. We can just go here. Actually, we can kind of just cheat and do this over here. We can drag it across and then make this minimum. I'm going to hold down Shift, Control, Enter. Our minimum is 1. Doesn't really change. Minimum is 1 over here. By the way, this minimum 1 is kind of sad. That's actually the Challenger incident, so that's pretty sad to think about. But that mission was very, very short. So I'm going to do it here. I'm going to hold on Shift, Control, and then Enter. You see the longest mission for a female is 15,000 hours. Longest mission for a male is 21,000 hours. So there you go. We have created a conditional version of max, min, and standard deviation, all by using array functions in Excel. Hope this was helpful. If you have any questions, please add them in the comments. Array functions sometimes can be frustrating if you can't get Excel to accept them. And in your version of Excel or your OS, you may run into some issues. So I'd love to hear your questions. And yeah, hopefully this was helpful. If it was, send us a like, please subscribe, and let us know. Thanks so much.